I'll give you a chance in a minute. Can you please expand upon dignity of risk? What does this mean to me? So when I mentioned that, probably there's many examples, but one that comes to mind for me is that sometimes when we start supporting someone, we're told that they need 24 hours support, and that you know, and it might come from, could come from the parents, it could come from their support network, but as we get to know them, we kind of figure out that actually they'll go out in the community on their own for a couple hours and it's quite okay. And then a little bit later on we go, well, maybe they don't need this 24, you know, kind of hour support. So we back off and we see what happens. And sorry, just, oh, it's gone. And the other example I kind of give is that when I was growing up, you know, I think if you asked my mom, she would have thought that I should be at home all the time. But you know, when I was a teenager, I went out and I did some things, and I got to have a beer. And she said, just, you know, do that with moderation. And one time I didn't. And so I got to experience the dignity of risk. And I had to live with the consequences of that. And I learned my lesson from that. And I won't tell you I never did it again. But I think you get my drift, that everybody, whether you have a disability or not, it is actually, that is living. That is kind of not always living on the edge kind of thing, but just that's living, being able to figure out whether this is something you want to do, whether it's something you like, trying something different. And when we're walking alongside someone, we tend to work a little bit more on the safety side, right? Keep them safe, encourage them maybe not to take the risk, when in reality they might want to do that. So it's complex, and it does take knowledge and skill, and often conversations amongst ourselves to figure out how best to support someone. So that's kind of the best example I can think of. The other question is, why is the public flu clinic not being offered here again this year? And the answer is that now the community has so many options. I think a lot of the pharmacies offer free clinics, so we just decided that, you know, we would focus on our employees and just more internally. Okay. So, any questions? Just stick your hand up and. Wow. This is the first time, I think, that we haven't had a question from the floor. Okay.
I'm Jennifer Glatt. I'm just wondering what it would be like if I was put in a disability situation. Plus, what would happen, like, when other people come, or to come to my ways of living. I used to live in a group home. I used to live at other places, like at the beach. And sometimes there's challenges, but I'm just wondering, are they going to have like the kind of fun that we all have in the world, or is that just going to be like putting everybody at risk? And I feel, you know, what is that better for to think? Well, can we all live amongst each other? Can we all be a part of the experience of living the way society lives outside of our comfort zone? Like, that's what I'm asking about, is, are there going to be times when, like, I know that I have friends, I have family, but I'm wondering if everyone in the world, everyone in this center is going to experience the same kind of thing they experience here, or experience things out in the community the way we all experience things.
Wow, thank you, Jen. That was, amongst your question, I think you shared a fair bit of wisdom. And if I heard you correctly, I think what you're saying is you live a life, right, in the community, and you're kind of asking about the other people. Are they going to have the same opportunities that maybe you do? And are we all going to kind of figure out how to do that together, as not just as a St.Amant community, but as a community as a whole? And I think you were kind of answering your question while you were saying it. I do believe that we have to involve the community to truly have people live their lives, you know, that we can't isolate, we can't contribute to the isolation of people. And sometimes, you know, I've had these conversations, sometimes places like this are criticized for being isolated, but so can community homes at times if people don't go out and don't become part of their community. It's really about community being welcoming, right? And also about our staff figuring out how, and employees and parents and support networks figuring out how to make that happen. Everybody has to be involved. Well said. Thank you. Yeah.
Can you speak a little bit in regards to there seems to be an awful lot of talk about job security right now for some of our departments. Are you going to touch base on that today?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. So in the town halls in the past, particularly with River Road, because of the changes, people have always been asking, are we going to have the same jobs in the future? And the answer that we gave is that we intend to keep the same amount of resources that we had in the past, right, to serve 115 people that we did for 206. I have said that amongst the care staff, we may reconfigure some of the roles. If a unit needs a few more RAs than another, we may make some of those shifts. We may, if we need a little bit more clinical staff, direct staff, we may shift amongst, but we can do that over time. When people leave, we can use those vacancies and reassign them in different ways. So the change, for the most part, that will accompany the model will be done slowly and by taking control of those vacancies rather than having to come in and make sudden changes like on a Monday kind of thing and do it that way. So I don't know if that, now for the care part of the equation, that's what we've spoken to. And for other areas, and I'm not sure, do you want me to, like, is there a specific area that you have a question about? It will kind of depend on what the future brings.
Yeah, I guess probably the kitchen, housekeeping and what have you, but a lot of the jobs that are, I think some of us are wondering why the jobs recently that are posted, for instance, a job becomes vacant.
Yes.
It seems all the jobs that are being posted at this time are all posted for terms up to March 31st.
That's right.
We just kind of wanted some answers to that.
Sure. So now I can specifically answer around the nutrition services and the kitchen, etc. We have talked about it here. I used the example in the past a couple of times that our cafeteria services are costing us, in essence, double. So if you buy a burger for $5, it's costing St.Amant $10 for that burger. And we had talked about that we were going to take a look at our nutrition services and cafeteria, but mostly focus on the cafeteria initially. And we have had an outside consultant come in and provide some recommendations to us. We found out that, and not to our surprise, but that our kitchen equipment, the capital equipment that we prepare food with, needs an investment in the future, and a substantial one. So we have to make some decisions about how we move forward and how we organize ourselves and spend our money. So my commitment here today to you, given you've asked this specific question, is that if there are going to be changes that impact specific areas like cafeteria or nutrition services, we want to have that conversation, and we will in the next little while, because we have the recommendations, we're reviewing them now, and then we'll be back to those specific groups and inform you what are the next steps. Okay. Any other questions? Juliet?
It's not truly a question. I'm going to take a little bit of a celebration, seeing that we have this forum here. I have to, just because of the time of where this town hall is coming. Obviously, I hope everyone has heard we had the festival and the success of this festival, raising $180,000. And I want to thank every one of you. There was well over almost $80,000 in pledges collected, so that's not the foundation. Tina took care of that. We put the information out, but that's every one of you, the families. So we thank you. I know Ann Fountain, with our co-chair, with her son Troy is here. Thank you for their leadership. But thank you guys so much, because obviously to help with a lot of the outcomes that we can do, such as the third floor renovation and all our funding priorities, this is where these monies come from. So thank you so much, and hope we'll see you guys at all the other events.
Thanks, Juliet. And Ann, could I just ask you to stand so everybody, this is Ann Fountain, who is our co-chair, and is Troy here?
Troy's back there.
Troy's at the back. Hi, Troy.
Hi, Troy.
Thank you very much. Awesome job, you guys. So,